Cast a breezy evening, otherwise low clouds, humid, the low 78, winds from the southeast 10 to 20 miles per hour. Humid tomorrow, clouds and sun. Tomorrow's high 91 to 98. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, warm and humid, a thunderstorm or two with a low of 78. Very warm Wednesday and humid with clouds and breaks of sun. We'll see a high Wednesday of 91 to 97. Watch for a strong afternoon thunderstorm on Thursday. I'm AccuWeather's Drew Shannon on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
The Rio Grande Valley's news, weather, and talk station. News Talk 710 KURV and KURV.com.
News Talk 710 KURV.
Have I said K-Onda yet this show, Joe? I don't think I have. K-O-N-D-A. There we go. K-Onda. Happy Monday. I'm Zach Cantu, along with the living legend Davis Rankin, your 956 drive home. Houston Astros baseball tonight. Astros hosting the Brewers. Pre-game 6:10. Your home for Houston Astros baseball. News Talk 710 KURV. Made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and Mission Economic Development Corporation. We head now to Austin. Yes, for the Quorum Report. Harvey Kronberg with the Quorum Report for an update on, I guess, the aftermath around the state for other... First up, let me ask you this, Harvey. What's going on in San Antonio? There's like a bajillion people running for mayor.
Well, the bottom line is, it's going to winnow itself down to two, and the more people that are involved, the more wild card it becomes. And
how many people were there?
God, the last time I looked, I think there were 9, but I might have missed it. That's a local issue.
I can't remember if it was like 22 or 44, but it was a lot of people. It was an absurd amount of people running for mayor in San Antonio.
Most of the South Side, I suspect.
So we're down to how many?
Well, I think it's 9, but I could be way out of date. I've got a tunnel vision inside. Once you walk inside the we call it the Pink Dome, the Capitol. The rest of the world, you become oblivious to the rest of the world. So, I hear that we got some president named Trump that's doing all kinds of unusual and extraordinary things. But
now,
that's
Harvey, just leave him alone. It's not like he doesn't have enough trouble.
So let's go to the Texas legislature. What's happening in Austin this week?
Well, we're pretty much down to the wire. People are still trying to get their bills heard in committee, but it's too late. So what's happening is they're looking for vehicles. They're looking for a bill that has cleared the process, that has a caption that might be able to embrace what they're trying to do, and then get it either attached with the willingness of the bill author or by amendment process when it comes to the floor. So what you hear is the sound of bills dying and lobbyists running around frantically trying to do life support.
When is the session over?
June 2nd.
Why is that so funny?
I'm laughing because they've had all session to do this, and I'm just trying to think, how many vacation days did they use up this time around, Harvey?
This is how it's all.
Well, remember when the Texas Constitution was written, they didn't trust government, and so they made it an abbreviated session.
Yep.
And constitutionally, they can't take anything up for the first 60 days unless the governor declares it an emergency item. And so essentially, they have 90 days to do their business, and really that means about 70, 75 days. So as we come down to this month, I like to describe the legislative process as essentially everybody is sleep deprived, dehydrated, over caffeinated, and the health diet is considered queso and vodka. That's where we make our public policy.
I'd avoid the queso. It's bad for your cholesterol. But the vodka, I don't know.
The vodka should clarify it.
Well, that sounds like a party.
More clear liquids. He meant tap water, Harvey. All right.
Oh, forget tap water. That stuff will kill you.
Harvey Kronberg
in it.
from the Quorum Report up in Austin, joining us on 710 KURV. All right, so let's. What's on the agenda this week? What are the big agenda priorities that they've got?
The real drama is there's a couple of the governor's priorities that have not yet passed, but he's taking a victory lap right now over vouchers. But the only other real thing that we have to do, damn it, is pass the budget and fund the schools. And the deal we thought was that the House was going to would not take up the voucher bill until the Senate had passed school funding. Well, they haven't passed school funding yet. And the lieutenant governor says he will force us into a special session if he doesn't get his THC ban, his cannabis ban. And the only thing that he has on the plate that he can do to engineer a special session is deny funding to the schools, and particularly the teacher pay raise, which everybody needs.
Go back
That's
to
the only real serious business that's left.
Go back to the THC ban there for a second, because where did I read it earlier this week that or over the weekend that there's this odd back and forth about what they're going to allow with the THC ban. Yeah, they're talking about the beverages, because apparently drinking is the only thing that people understand in Texas. Drinking is okay.
Well, it may have more to do with the fact that right now you can get THC infused products or Delta 9 infused products at liquor stores.
Yeah.
And they've discovered it's a huge profit center, especially with declining liquor sales. So they were trying to get the monopoly on it, but the bill that came out of the House committee is actually what Republican voters say they want. They don't want criminalization. They want regulation, and so that you know what you're actually getting, you know what the contents of the product are, and make it so that it's not available to kids.
I read that too, that they were going to outlaw the products that look like they could be marketed to kids.
The liquor store lobby is the one who got this stopped, because
they're the ones who are trying to keep it exclusively in liquor stores, but that's preposterous. So. And these are my friends, but what they're proposing is preposterous.
Why is that preposterous? I mean, seriously.
Because if they stop legal distribution of Delta 9, it'll just go underground. You'll lose tax dollars, and you'll put about 50,000 people out of work here in the state of Texas. And you may have noticed we might be coming into a recession here. So
that's because you live in the Austin capital. It's just high all the time. I mean, there's just.
Come on, we're 20 square miles surrounded by reality.
That's right.
Hey, this one might be out of left field, but what about the daylight savings time stuff? I saw that floating around here.
I don't feel a groundswell there, but that's probably not going to come up until we get really. It's called the second reading deadline. I forget what day it is, but it's probably about a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks from here. And at midnight, then that is actually when it really becomes difficult to make something happen. And my guess is that's going to be on a 30-page calendar near the bottom, and they'll successfully run the clock out on it. It's entertaining, but it doesn't have. I don't sense anyway that it has very much momentum behind it.
All right, Harvey. Thanks a lot.
1,000 questions. Thank you, Harvey.
Anything else before we go? Okay. Actually.
I was just going to say, you think of all the businesses and all the adjustments and all the computers that would have to be realigned if we changed just time. So there's a hidden cost on there that I don't think people are embracing.
No, I never thought about that.
Well, I don't know. In 2025, I don't know if I agree with that. Maybe 30 years ago, I would agree with that. Like, man, that's a lot of hassle. But in 2025, a lot of it's very automatic and kind of taken care of.
That AI. You just tell artificial intelligence to do it, and it does it.
Yeah, I mean that's who's probably running the legislature right now. Harvey, is the AI. If I understand the human psyche as well as I think I do, people are lazy. they'll put brought this AI for that
wonderful topic up, but it's too late to take it up. Yeah. We don't have enough time.
One riff on this. Anecdote.
How would we know?
Quickly. I've been testing Meta AI, ChatGPT, Grok, which is Elon Musk's. And the only way you can tell if it's not hallucinating is I asked it, who is Harvey Kronberg? And damn it, if it wasn't Elon Musk's, was the most accurate and most robust. So,
whoa.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Harvey. Harvey Kronberg from the Quorum Report up in Austin, joining us on News Talk 710 KURV.
News Talk 710 KURV, the pulse of Valley business. your source for the latest business headlines, expert insights, and all things shaping the Rio Grande Valley's economy. Stay informed. Stay connected. News Talk 710 KURV.
This is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the nation's largest family law firm, but we're more than just size. We're part of your community. With offices across the country, our attorneys and staff live and work right where you do. And because we're local, we know your courts, your laws, and your legal community. When divorce puts your future on the line, you need a firm that's both powerful and personal. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. Schedule an appointment with one of our firm's San Antonio area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner. CordellCordell.com.
It takes one whiff. Everything on the menu seems to be calling out to you. Dish after dish looks so good that you just can't seem to make up your mind. Everything looks better than the last thing. It's almost mind-boggling, and that's the moment that you realize you are at the right place. Zen Asian Bistro. All you can eat. Sushi, all kinds, and always delicate, fresh, and delicious. Sushi and Chinese food all at the same place. Zen. Everything you want. Individually, custom, wok-fired, crispy General Chow chicken, and all of your favorite Chinese food like sizzling steak lo mein. It's an experience you'll absolutely love. Lunch and dinner, all you can eat at Zen. You don't have to decide on one thing because you get it all. Everything on the menu is yours for one low price. All you can eat. Bring everybody. With kids' meals at just $8.99, there's just no better option out there. Zen Asian Bistro. All you can eat, unlimited, unforgettable, unapologetically affordable. Zen.
Our call letters, KURV. Our frequency, 710 AM. Our specialty, news and talk. News Talk 710 KURV and KURV.com.
Zach Cantu, Davey Do, and you. Your 956 drive home on News Talk 710 KURV. Any thoughts on the state of Texas, Davey? I had a thought I had for this segment, but you and I got to talking off the air, and I completely forgot what we were going to say.
You want me to throw some things out to try and jog your memory?
No. Oh, this is it. I'm glad I did the scrolling. Okay, let's. So over the weekend, and probably a little bit at the tail end of last week, I kept on seeing memes about this one topic. Who would win in a fight? 100 men versus one single gorilla.
Gorilla. It depends on how they do it. If it's
A male gorilla can weigh close to 600 plus pounds, okay? And they'll pull themselves up trees like nothing.
Daryl Hoffman with the San Antonio Zoo, which is opening a gorilla exhibit this year. He's seen primates pick up a 55-gallon drum filled with water and toss it around like it was a toy.
Mm-hmm.
The beasts, he says, are hardwired. Think about this. The 5-gallon jug inside of the break room, nobody wants to move that in the office, right? When the jug gets empty, everybody's kind of like, well, I'm just going to wait for the next person to fill it up. That's how heavy the 5-gallon jug is.
I won't tell you what the engineers asked me. Who do you want to do that? I won't tell you what
the beasts, the gorilla, hardwired to survive, and that's why he thinks he would win in this fight.
Well, you take
also, he's probably got a bone to pick with us because of Harambe all those years ago. Daryl Hoffman with the San Antonio Zoo.
From that point on, I had a whole different respect for how strong gorillas really are. They're 3 times the size of a person. They spend their life walking through the jungle and climbing trees, so they have to be strong.
This reminds me of some of the classic discussions that the internet has had over the years, like how many 5th graders do you think you could take on in a fight before they eventually overwhelm you?
It depends on what city we're talking about. If it's in a modern American city, one of them's going to have a gun. So
right, or a more complicated question along that line of thinking is how many 5th graders could you take on in a fight if every 5th wave there was a 10th grader before you're finally overwhelmed by the kids?
You don't have enough to do. I can tell.
No, the internet doesn't have enough to do because they're asking questions like that. That's what this reminded me of from all those years ago.
You've ever seen some of these 5th graders who look like they're ready to enlist? I mean, I don't know.
I'm just saying, I don't know. How many 5th graders do you think you could hold up against before you were overwhelmed, Davey?
10.
Realistically?
I never thought about it, so I'm picking the figures out of here.
Honestly, I don't have an answer either. I honestly don't have
For little skinny fifth graders, that's
Think
one
of it
thing.
like if it was a Children of the Corn situation and suddenly there were kids everywhere running wild and just attacking adults, how many of them do you think you would take on? I'm just
Children of the Corn.
I'm just asking.
Is that the one where they eat you after they kill you? Or is that something else?
You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV.
Sometimes in life, if you want to get to the truth, you have to look at the numbers. Unfortunately, 50% of all dogs over 10 years old will die of cancer, and the other 40 to 50% suffer miserably from skin issues or joint problems. This is widely attributed to your dog's diet. These numbers are what inspired naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black to create Rough Greens. So here is the good news. With thousands of testimonials and 5-star reviews every month, Rough Greens is now the #1 all-natural dog supplement in America. They've helped millions of pups like mine stay active and be healthy. Your pup could be next. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. You just cover shipping. Go to ruffgreens.com, promo code KIRK. That is ruffgreens.com, promo code Kirk. Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. Ruffgreens.com, promo code Kirk.
The beautiful enchiladas verdes. The special is back at El Pato. Only $6.99 for a limited time. With a side of those ranchero beans, the Mexican rice, and the drink. It's only $6.99. That's an amazing offer. Corn tortillas all rolled up with a seasoned shredded chicken, slathered with that gorgeous green spicy tomatillo sauce and the beautiful melted white cheese. Oh, you can just taste them right now. Enchiladas verdes, rice, beans, and the drink, only $6.99. Stack up those plates at all El Pato restaurants. Plus the daily specials that are only $5.99. Different day of the week. Could be carne guisada plates, chicken enchilada plates, taquitos mexicanos, chicken guisado. It tastes so good. It smells so good. It's beautiful. It's our food. Rio Grande Valley Tex-Mex. You know you're hungry. Stop by El Pato. Phone it in like I do or order online at elpato.com. Enchiladas verdes, ranchero beans, the Mexican rice, and the drink. Only $6.99 for a limited time.
History's unfolding, and you're listening to it on News Talk 710 KURV, Edinburgh, McAllen, Harlingen, Brownsville.
Banning so-called gain-of-function research. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump signing an executive order a short time ago in the Oval Office.
It's a big deal. Could have been that we wouldn't have had the problem we had.
The order bans federal funding towards the research that the administration calls dangerous in China, Iran, and other countries. The White House says the order will drastically reduce the potential for lab-related incidents like those conducted on bat coronavirus in China. And the president said a tariff announcement on drugs is coming.
I'll announce it over the next 2 weeks.
The European Union actively recruiting American scientists with grants in light of the U.S. ending diversity policies.
At an event billed Choose Europe for Science, the European Union pledged to set up a super grant program in excess of $566 million to entice scientists from America. French President Emmanuel Macron also offered his nation's commitment to more investment in science and research. At the start of his administration, President Donald Trump signed an executive order eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion policies across the federal government. It also ended grants that sought people of varied backgrounds for technology and engineering research. The European Union called cuts to free research a miscalculation by U.S. policymakers.
Fox's Gernal Scott. A federal appeals court has rejected a request from the Department of Homeland Security to allow it to revoke the temporary legal status of hundreds of thousands of Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans living in the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has directed the active duty military to cut 20% of its 4-star generals. He's also ordered the National Guard to shed 20% of its top positions. In addition, he's directed the military to eliminate an additional 10% of its general and flag officers across the force. America is listening to Fox News.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. You'll get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month. Here's Veronica and Jackie, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
And now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free when they use promo code SECONDFREE. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save. Because when it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and use code SECONDFREE to get a free second month. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The president of the Art Institute of Chicago is off the job and under investigation over an incident on a flight to Europe.
The Art Institute of Chicago is saying it's opened an investigation into its president, James Rondeau's behavior, after a CBS report that Rondeau allegedly stripped off his clothes during a flight from Chicago to Munich last month. That German police were called to the plane. The report citing sources who say the incident happened after Rondeau drank alcohol and took prescription drugs. He's now temporarily sidelined from his role while the investigation is done. Rondeau and United Airlines not commenting. The Art Institute of Chicago is one of the city's most popular cultural attractions. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Georgia Republican Governor Brian Kemp has announced he is not running for the Senate next year against incumbent Jon Ossoff. Warren Buffett is stepping down as CEO of his investment firm, but won't be completely stepping back.
Warren Buffett will remain chairman of Berkshire Hathaway's board when he retires as chief executive at the end of the year. The board has approved his handpicked successor, company veteran Greg Abel. Berkshire says its board voted Sunday to make Abel's January 1st appointment as both president and CEO official, and that Warren Buffett will continue to chair Berkshire's board of directors. Buffett is 94. He gained majority control of Berkshire in 1965. Abel is 62. He currently oversees many Berkshire companies, including Benjamin Moore, Fruit of the Loom, Oriental Trading, and See's Candies. Ginny Coselda, Fox News.
At the box office this weekend, Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts in the top spot with $76 million in domestic ticket sales. Sinners falls to second place with $33 million in its third week. A Minecraft movie in third with $13.7 million. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast, a breezy evening, otherwise low clouds, humid, the low 78, winds from the southeast 10 to 20 miles per hour. Humid tomorrow, clouds and sun, tomorrow's high 91 to 98. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, warm and humid, a thunderstorm or two with a low of 78. Very warm Wednesday and humid with clouds and breaks of sun. We'll see a high Wednesday of 91 to 97. Watch for a strong afternoon thunderstorm on Thursday. I'm AccuWeather's Drew Shannon on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Your life doesn't have to be limited by the hassles of wearing glasses or contact lenses. Eye surgeon Dr. Rachel Gelman offers LASIK, a life-changing vision procedure. A comprehensive evaluation is performed before the LASIK procedure. Dr. Gelman then applies these precise calculations unique to your eye using state-of-the-art technology to give you the best possible vision. Affordable payment options are available. Call for an appointment with board-certified ophthalmologist Dr. Gelman, a specialist in cornea, cataract, and refractive surgery.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Tune in later tonight as your Houston Astros visit the Milwaukee Brewers. First pitch at 6:40. Powered by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women, Mission Economic Development Corporation, and News Talk 710 KURV. From the KURV broadcast. This is the 956 Drive Home.
All right, we're doing this. Put on your seatbelt, check your mirrors. Let's begin.
Buckle up and get ready to talk about today's headlines and topics important to you. Here's Zach Cantu and Davis Rankin.
Hey, happy Monday. 5 o'clock. That means you got through arguably one of the longest days of the week. I'm Zach Cantu, along with the living legend Davis Rankin, your 956 driver. What? I'm not being negative. I'm being real.
No,
I'm being real.
I thought you were going to say
I am a human being.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Arguably. I am arguably a human being.
But he does not
I
drink.
am some strange representation of a human being.
He does not drink drams, so he didn't know. 5 o'clock somewhere.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Where do I go from here? No, speaking of Davis Rankin, we're talking about brain health today. And we'll talk about how food can affect that. We'll talk about dementia. But we also have... I'm trying really hard not to break here. That we'll also talk about some of the election results from over the weekend. And I got plenty of stuff that they're talking about up in Austin. All that's coming up on News Talk 710 KURV. Also, we got to talk about Alcatraz. I'll find time to talk about the Alcatraz thing this hour. I promise. Okay, that's this hour on News Talk 710 KURV.
And now, important moments in news history.
I can speak in this accent as well.
Yeah.
I probably own more than 50 firearms. I sleep very comfortably outside Austin, Texas, knowing that I can defend my family.
Alex Jones, this
is Infowars.com.
This has been important moments in news history.
Zach Cantu, 710 KURV.
In moments of change, the greatest opportunities arise. This could be your time to shine and grow. At News Talk 710 KURV, we make it simple with tailored promotions, live mentions, and a strong presence across our social media platforms to ensure your business gets noticed and thrives. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, this is your chance. Call us today at 956-992-8895 and let's talk about your business on News Talk 710 KURV, helping put your business on the map.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is as careful as you are, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock will monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. And if your identity's stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com. LifeLock. For the threats you can't control, terms apply.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV.
Happy Monday. K-Onda. Listening to 710 KURV. I'm Zach Cantu, along with the living legend Davis Rankin. Your home for Houston Astros baseball. Up against the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Astros are hosting. Pregame 6:10. First pitch about a half hour after that. Your home for Astros baseball on 710 KURV. Made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and Mission Economic Development Corporation. Voters in McAllen have elected 2 new members to the City Commission. Unofficial results released after polls closed on Saturday to show that Tony Aguirre won the District 1 race against Timothy Wilkins. Rolando Rios, also the predicted winner of the District 3 race against Omar Quintanilla. Voters in Hidalgo County rejected the tax rate increases in 3 of the county's 4 emergency service districts, while voting to create 2 new districts in the western part of the county. Cameron County getting a new city. Voters approved the incorporation of Starbase in unofficial results released over the weekend. But I doubt much can go wrong in that vote. It was 212-6. 212-6. I doubt they're going to recall that one.
What do they call it when you backward engineer something? They're
reverse engineering?
They're reverse engineering that to find out who the 6 were so they can be invited to move.
Yeah, who were the 6 that were most disgruntled when they showed up to the polling place that day? That's how you know. Let's see. Voters in the county shot down the proposed multi-purpose arena that would have been located between Brownsville and Harlingen. And it's the 3rd time the arena proposal has been rejected by voters. Police in Edinburgh issuing a warning about a hoax currently making the rounds on social media. The Post says an alert was issued for a 27-year-old police officer after her daughter was found alone inside a vehicle. Police department says the post is part of a nationwide hoax and should be ignored. Reports indicate the hoax may be a part of a scam that attempts to target social media users who share information without checking its accuracy, which is incredibly more common than you could imagine. You had your finger up.
I forgot to mention this before we started. Well, we'll talk about it. No, what you were saying is fine. We'll talk about this later.
Thank you. Thank you, Davis. You want to talk about your thing? Go ahead.
What? I just cleared my throat. That's all.
Now I'm curious. What were you going to talk about and how it's...
Well, a fellow with whom I was acquainted who ran the last time for a McAllen school board seat and ran again this time and came in third, died. He was a veteran. I'm not sure what service it was. He was disabled. And I found out about this right before I came here. His name was Rogelio Aleman. And everybody seems to like him. In fact, his two co-candidates, Robbie Haddad posted that when he first met Rogelio Aleman II, Roy got them all together and they all pledged not to attack each other, but to keep it positive. And he was sincere. And so what happened, I have no idea, but it was just, this is something I've never heard, I've never seen. People drop dead all the time, yes. But you see them in a public venue, they appear to be healthy. He was disabled. I don't know what the disability was. And next thing I know, I'm getting a text saying he has left the building. So he's married. That's all I know. But I don't recall this ever happening in a Valley election anywhere where a participant departs this world right after that. So that's just a little bit of news. That's all. I guess it's sort of cosmic too, in a way, but that's not what we're here for, to be cosmic. Can I leave now? Can I go home? Or do you want me to go home? I think you want me to go home, but I can't.
Yes. Yes. Obviously, it's a very sad thing when somebody passes away, especially a member of the community. And especially in one of those situations, hey, we were just talking about it. The guy was running for
no hint of anything wrong. So
on to the state of Texas, a Republican-backed bill that would make it easier to get a vaccination exemption in Texas making its way through the legislature. The House Public Health Committee advanced the bill on Thursday in a 7-6 party line vote. The bill would make the state's exemption form downloadable as a PDF, eliminating the need to contact the Texas Department of State Health Services directly to have the form mailed to the applicant's home address. More than 93,000 Texans applied for exemptions last year, and all requests were granted. A U.S. congressman from Texas leading the charge in the battle over President Trump's 2026 fiscal year budget proposal. GOP House Budget Committee Chair Jody Arrington says we can address the massive deficit by cutting wasteful spending in Medicaid. Arrington told Fox News Sunday that Republicans have to stick together and not let Democrats scare voters into thinking that they want to gut social services. So here's the onda, Davey. Republicans need to do a better job of explaining what they call wasteful spending, because the Democrats have already, for the past several weeks now, talking about how they're going to cut Medicaid and how they're going to cut Medicaid. They need to describe a little bit better what wasteful spending would be in that situation.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely. By the time they get to explaining it, the battle is in some ways over. The shift metaphors, the ground is being poisoned right now.
Right. And haven't they already kind of started doing that whole, they're going to kill grandma mantra out there?
Sure.
Sure. Why
but
not?
They don't, all they say is we're going to cut Medicaid.
If you say they're doing it, Zachary,
there's no further explanation. Sure. I think the way it's handled is bad because it gives people a long time to think about all the things that could happen, and we don't trust them anyway. So if you know about wasteful spending and fraud, why are we waiting till now to address it? They're always trying to kill wasteful spending.
Well, no, because cutting wasteful spending is a lot more prevalent now than it has been in past years, because we now have an entire department that's dedicated to cutting stuff. That's how that works there.
Where did I leave off? I have a different read. It's so big, nobody knows what they're spending.
are on the Atlantic. Hurricane season less than a month away. Forecasters say ocean temperatures cooler than usual.
It's one data point to suggest that we're unlikely to see a hyperactive Atlantic hurricane season.
Texas meteorologist Eric Berger says that the main development region of the Atlantic is about 2 degrees cooler than it was last May. Federal forecasters will release the predictions in about 2 weeks. You know what's interesting, Davey? The past couple of years, they've been saying there were going to be overactive seasons, and it turned out that they weren't. This year, they're saying it's probably going to be slower than usual. How much you want to bet? We're going to get like 1,000 hurricanes. There's going to be so many hurricanes back to back, super hurricane, the triads and everything.
I had a friend living in
Two hurricanes will probably merge together in the Gulf and create a larger hurricane.
We could have
followed
come
by a third
separately, but we want to get it over with. Yeah,
like a mommy hurricane and a daddy hurricane will come together, and then a baby hurricane will come after that.
That's what happens if you don't use hurricane birth control. So.
Oh, man. You're listening to 710 KURV, your 956 drive home. Coming up next on the program, let's talk about brain health. Are there things that you can eat to prevent decay? Are some of the foods you eating causing decay? Let's talk about dementia as well. All that coming up next on News Talk 710 KURV.
Coming up in just a few minutes, it's the bottom of the hour news. Stay tuned for the latest headlines. News Talk 710 KURV. Tomorrow on the Brian Kilmeade Show.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the show, please join me as we talk to Tristan Harris about, is it important for us to win the AI war? Mike Rowe on the need for more blue-collar workers. He has maybe a contradictory statement to make. And Lieutenant Colonel Alan West on what's happening at our border and are we ready to bomb Iran? Don't miss a minute of the Brian Kilmeade Show on Tuesday.
Tomorrow afternoon starting at 2 on News Talk 710 KURV, KURV.com, and the Radio Potomy app.
We're out of bottled water again.
That's nuts. I just bought a case of water last time I went shopping.
I'm not drinking tap water.
We need a better solution.
Call Culligan.
Hey, Culligan man.
Stop buying little bottles of water at the store. Our Culligan drinking water system makes an almost unlimited supply of fresher, cleaner water that tastes pure. It's bottled water without the bottles. For better water, go to CulliganRGV.com or call 956-399-1780.
Cat tax, cat tax, cat tax, cat tax. Are your property taxes too high? Well, you can kiss that money goodbye until you call cat tax. Oh yeah, we save money for you. Cat tax, cat tax. Call cat tax, cat tax. No savings,
no fees.
Call 631-SAVE. Cat tax, cat tax, cat tax. Cat tax.
If your property taxes are too high, you don't have to just kiss your money goodbye. Not with CAD Tax on your side. CAD Tax, they do all the work and you save all that money. If they don't win, you don't pay. No savings, no fee. There's nothing to lose. That's the CAD Tax guarantee. Call 631-SAVE.
No savings,
no fee.
That's a written guarantee. Cat tax, cat tax, cat tax, cat tax.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic, available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
710 KURV, streaming live at KURV.com. Powered by Texas Mutual Workers Compensation Insurance, a policyholder-owned company. Work safe, Texas.
You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV, your 956 drive on AAA radio. Awesome as always. Zach Cantu and the living legend Davis Rankin. Your home for Houston Astros baseball. You can catch that game tonight. The Astros hosting the Brewers, pregame 6:10. News Talk 710 KURV. Astros baseball is made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and Mission Economic Development Corporation. If you are starting to experience a cognitive decline, can you reverse that damage by changing your diet? Can you boost your brain power by consuming certain things? Joining us on 710 KURV, we welcome back to the program Dr. Patrick Porter, PhD, an expert in brain health and the author and founder of Brain Tap, which is also. Tell you what is Brain Tap, by the way, because it's a lot of things put together, isn't it? It's a program.
Yeah. It's an app and a headset that you can wear to help with cognitive decline and also with the accelerated learning. It's a device that balances the brain and gives you more energy.
How does that work?
Well, we use light, sound, and vibration, and we have over 30 scientific studies that actually prove out how it changes the nervous system, changing you from a fight or flight response to a parasympathetic state.
That's
and
fascinating.
you can use it in your own home, so it's an easy thing you can do.
There's been a lot of attention recently on Alzheimer's and dementia and all the cognitive brain diseases that tend to bog you down at the end of life phase. And I don't know, there's been lots of talk about solutions and things like that, but the food that you eat, how does that work? What contributes to brain decline?
Sure. First of all, it's not in the 70s anymore. This is happening to people in their 40s now. So there's something going on out there. People are having this kind of dementia symptoms, but it really comes down to these 5 foods, like ultra processed foods. These contain high levels of sugar, unhealthy fats, preservatives, artificial ingredients. These are all linked to a study showing 28% faster cognitive decline. So if it comes in a can, bottle, or a wrapper with ingredients you can't read, your body probably can't digest it.
That's a really good point. We spoke with a doctor a couple of weeks ago who mentioned, I forgot the name of the word, but it's the gist of it is basically some of these foreign chemicals stay in your body until your body is constantly detoxing, right? And well, some of them take longer than others, and if it gets bogged down with too many different things, well, that's when you have a lot of problems. And I'm assuming the brain is no different.
That's right. Yeah, it's probably advanced glycolysis end products, they call it, AGEs. These happen with a lot of fried foods, high fat foods when you're grilling or frying foods. So there's things we can do for it. Yes, I have some solutions.
So is it the food, or well, from what we understand from the studies, is it the food that causes the cognitive decline? And if so, are there foods that we can eat that can either prevent that from happening or even make us not smarter, but just increase our brain power?
Oh, yeah. I think if you look at anything that comes without a wrapper, if God made it, it's probably good for our brain. Fresh foods, whole foods, minimal processed items. And when you think about, we didn't have this problem, if you think back to I Love Lucy, in those kind of days, they didn't have all the processed foods. I mean, now we have everyone stopping by the quick foods, and those quick foods aren't really good for our digestion. We don't know how to handle them. So we need to start steaming more, poaching more, stewing more, things like this. And in fact, even marinating in lemon juice or vinegar before cooking actually reduces these AGE formations. And this is what causes the plaquing in the brain that they're talking about. And the type of fish we eat can be a factor. You avoid foods like shark, swordfish, king mackerel. These are foods, the fish that stay alive longer, they're going to collect more of the harmful mercury that gets into our brain and causes the problems. And then, of course, the one nobody really wants to talk about is alcohol. Alcohol is damaging at any amount. So I always recommend people eat, when they're drinking, they should do it while they're eating. That's why there's usually cheese with it, something to slow it down, fat, fiber, and protein. And then look at days. If you're going to have a drink or two with your friends, then maybe the day before that you don't drink, because it's the constant barrage that's causing the problem. It's not just, every once in a while. And then a lot of people think they made a good switch to artificial sweeteners. Now the studies show those really wreak havoc with your gut. And this inflammation in the gut biome disrupts everything, because what's happening in your gut is actually happening in your brain at the same time. There's more gray matter in your gut than there is between your ears. So I always recommend people eat like raw honey, maple syrup, stevia if it's natural plant-based, and monk fruit. These are things you can do, but even those need to be eaten in minimal amounts, because I've never met a person yet in my 40 years of working with clients that they had a carbohydrate deficiency. So we're eating way too much carbs, which turn into sugar.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I'm on my 3rd week without a single carb in my diet. Joining us on 710 KURV is Dr. Patrick Porter, expert in brain health, and we're talking about how foods can affect your cognitive decline. Go ahead, Davey.
A couple of different items. I've moved away from aspartame. I don't know what the other artificial sweeteners are. What about stevia? Can you give us the names of some that you think are okay?
You can find stevia at the store in that brand name, stevia.
Well, I'm looking for stuff
as long
that's
as it's not mixed with something else.
Well, yogurt, and sometimes the yogurt has, if it's not plain, it's sweetened. Now, sometimes it's sugar, but what are some other acceptable plant-based sweeteners?
Yeah, actually, cane sugar is plant-based.
Okay.
It's probably better to eat cane sugar in moderate amounts because your body knows how to metabolize and digest it. Honey, maple syrup, these are things that you can add in, especially with yogurt.
Okay.
I eat my yogurt with a little bit of maple syrup. It tastes good, and a little granola on it.
Who
So
can
it's
eat just a
good treat.
little maple syrup, though? I drink it right out of the bottle. I bet you don't, though.
My co-host here would carry around the entire box of kashi with him, so I don't know about his claim. Or who would eat that much?
One other question. A lot of people probably think wine, a glass of wine at night, maybe 4 ounces. That those are help. Well, that's the recommendation.
He's asking for a friend.
That's the recommendation.
Yeah.
Who measures
That's
their wine?
oddly specific.
When I wrote the programs for DUIs for the state of Arizona, I actually showed a study back in the 80s that showed 1 drink a night shrinks your brain 3/4 of an inch every year.
Well, you're just
So it's 1 drink a night isn't as good. You should go out and have all those drinks on Friday night. It'd be better for you.
Well, it's an interesting
But
question.
he's
What
been
grows your brain?
He's been
then?
talking
You know what I
to
mean?
my
Like
wife.
everything here is like everything we've been talking about is out to get you. What is good for the brain?
What you want to grow your brain, you need omega fats, omega-3 fats, and studies have shown just 1 tablespoon of olive oil a day. So instead of having your salad dressing, put a tablespoon of olive oil on your salad and put Italian seasoning. That's going to be great for your brain. It's going to help grow your brain. Water, just water alone. You can have herbal drinks if you want. That can count as water. But coffee dehydrates the body. So, maybe a cup or 2 is fine, but you want to make sure you're getting enough. The brain is really a hydro engine and needs ketones, not sugar. So we only get those ketones that whoever stepped up and said, hey, I haven't eaten carbohydrates in a certain time, that's because your body is now burning fat. When it burns fat, it makes ketones, and that's what your body needs. Your body needs fats, like avocado. Have a half avocado every day. That's going to help you. Eat any purple fruits. These are going to help your brain. And, we don't work like we used to. When we used to be on the farms, we could eat pretty much whatever we wanted. We're burning it all out, the sugar in the system. But now we have so much stress in our lives because of technology, really. I mean, when you look at the news and you look at your cell phone and things of this time, it's triggering this stress response in the body. And your body actually creates 5 grams of sugar called glucagon from the liver every time you have a stressful event. So that's like eating a candy bar or a bowl of Fruit Loops, but you didn't get to enjoy them. So, and then you pound on top of that the other sugars. When they did the studies about wine too, by the way, that wasn't resveratrol. You can get that as a supplement. You don't have to drink wine to get it. In fact, you'd have to drink so much wine to get the amount they're talking about. You'd be drunk every night. So it's just,
And?
you can't get enough resveratrol out of a glass of wine. Now, I'm not against having a glass of wine every once in a while, but just have it with your meal so you can slow it down in the system. The problem is a lot of people will drink alcohol alone or, without anything slowing it down. And then that sugar goes directly to the brain. And it's one of the worst neurotoxins we have.
Davis says, I'll drink to that. That's what Davis says.
Resveratrol is found in grapes or red grape juice, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You can eat grapes, purple grapes, and you can have grape juice. That's a good form of it. But you don't, if you came to our house for holidays, you'd be having the fruit juice type. We get that for our grandkids so they can have a toast still because they think that's something important. But it's just, of course, my family's, my heritage is a bunch of alcoholics, so I'm not going to be testing that.
Dr. Patrick Porter, expert in brain health, joining us on 710 KURV. Let me ask you this, because I've seen some dueling studies come out very recently about creatine and its effect on the brain. I've seen a lot of positive studies about this.
So yeah, what they're saying, creatine helps the cells to absorb nutrients and actually create space for the cell to survive. When you have stress or toxins in the body, it's almost like putting leaves on top of a fire. The cell's still in there, but it can't breathe. So creatine, a lot of weightlifters will use it because it will make your muscles appear bigger because it's getting more energy into the cell. So that's a good thing. Some people do MSM. It does kind of the same thing.
You wouldn't know like the dosage for that, would you?
No, I would just go with whatever's on the label. You typically, before somebody works out, that's the only way I've ever seen it used, is you would do a scoop or two depending upon your size.
Where can we find more information?
Your muscles will use it as energy. It will give you energy too. But one of the things you need to build muscle, if you want, is amino acids. You know, a lot of people forget about that. It's your amino acids is what's building muscle in the body. So look for a good amino acid supplement. And creatine, I think those would be good. Sometimes people drink protein drinks thinking they're building protein, but most of the protein drinks actually become sugar. So it's like a dessert to the body.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. For people that want to learn more about Brain Tap, where can they get more information?
Yeah, they can go to braintap.com. We have a 14-day trial. They can just download it. And when they do that, they get a free copy of my book, Thrive in Overdrive, so they can learn more about what I talk about the brain and how to keep yourself. It's called Thrive in Overdrive because everybody right now wants to go 100 miles an hour and achieve their goals yesterday. So we give tips in there about how to live this fast-paced lifestyle and keep your brains, you know.
Oh, you know what? Before we leave, Dr. Porter, I wanted to ask you this. What is brain fog, and how does that vary from person to person?
Well, brain fog typically is a sluggish brain. It could be due to lack of sleep, but it's usually caused by toxins because your brain only detoxifies during level 4 sleep. And with 2/3 of the world not sleeping, a lot of people are experiencing toxic backup. So think of the garbage man. You bring the garbage out of the road every week, but he hasn't come for weeks. That garbage is building up there. So it cleans out. The glial lymphatic system turns on during level 4 sleep. So a lot of times just having a glass of water about an hour before bedtime and then having a good night's sleep, your brain will start clearing that out.
Thanks for the advice, Dr. Porter. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Patrick Porter, PhD, brain expert. Check out braintap.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV.
The X marks the spot for a treasure full of news and information. Follow us on X at 710 KURV.
If there were an X marking the spot for Yvetta's Machinery in Donna, it would be on the north side of the expressway. There's no way to miss it, really, because that's the place where